This will be the sentence for the accused persons. For that offense, for that particular count, first accused person, a fine of 500 shillings in default. You serve 12 years. You serve 12 months imprisonment. For the second accused person, Susan Wangarindu, I'll sentence you to a fine of 500 in default, 1 year imprisonment. And I think that's the only sentence that you'll carry. So you can sit down. You can sit down, Governor. You have finished with your sentences. I don't think you're affected by the rest. Okay. Yes. 500,000, and that's the only sentence for Susan. Yes, that's the only sentence that she'll carry. Now, because there are no other counts that affects her, and I've not sentenced the partnership separately, and I think that one also give you some bit of reprieve. You organize yourself. Now, count 5 against Engineer Luka Wainyamwangi, convicted of abuse of office, conduct provision of section 46 as directed 48 of Anti-Corruption Economic Crimes Act number 3 of 2003 for improperly awarding the tender. The value of the tender is 588,198, 328 and 20 cents. I've looked at the circumstances under which the offense was committed and the role that you played. And I've tried to moderate the sentence as much as I can, JM, because you can see the figure. If we blindly go to the benefits, the figure is quite colossal. But all said and done. Under provision section 48(1), the first limb of ASECA, you shall pay a fine of 1 million in default 2 years imprisonment. Under section 48(1), B, as read with section 48(2), A of ASECA, the second limb. You shall pay a mandatory fine in the sum of 20 million. In default, you serve 5 years imprisonment. So I repeat, for the first limb, you pay 1 million. In default, 2 years imprisonment. Under the mandatory fine, I've told you the contract sum, and I think this is the warning that I'm giving to the professionals who are dealing with the professional duties. 20 million. In default, you serve 5 years imprisonment. And I think that's the only sentence you have. So in total, you are paying 21 million. You can sit down, engineer. Charles Chege Mbudia, Beth Wangeshi Mburu. And Tesmon Enterprises Limited. You are convicted of engaging in fraudulent practice in the procurement, conduct provision section 66(1) as read with section 177 of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act of 2015. Your sentence will run as follows. For Charles Chege, the main director and majority shareholder of Tesmon Enterprises Limited, your sentence is a fine of 500,000 in default, 12 months imprisonment. Beth your sentence is reduced to a fine of 200,000. In default, you serve 12 months imprisonment. Count H against Chege, Beth, and Testimony Enterprises Limited. Convict of engaged in a fraudulent practice in procurement, contrary to provision of section 66(1), as read with section 177 of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act. Those are the ones that deal with the forgeries of the documents. For Mr. Chege, being the main director and majority shareholder of Testimony, you pay a sum of 500,000 in default, 12 months imprisonment. I'm not sentenced in the company. Beth, you are sentenced on behalf of the company to pay a fine of 200,000 in default, 12 months imprisonment. Again, I've factored in your roles. Count number 9 against Chege, Beth, and Testimony. And again, Mr. Counsel Swaka, I've really weighed on it and looked at the law as well as what is at stake. And probably the arguments that I think it's Counsel Njenga who brought in about probably some road here and there could have been constructed. But I think we'd rather not do that which we are not qualified to do. But I've tried my best, and this is the sentence. For the fourth accused person, Mr. Charles Chege Mbudia, you are the main director and shareholder of Testimony Enterprises Limited, and if anything, I think you are one person who bore the responsibility. You would have made things better if you had the qualifications. And the unfortunate thing, you are the one who brought yourself in these things. So this is the sentence for the first limb under 41 of ASECA. A fine of 1 million in default, 2 years imprisonment. Under section 48, 1B, as read with 48, 2A. I'm not proceeding under 48, 2B, which is even more punitive. Because of that aspect, probably you might have used the resource to do that. I'll sentence you to pay the mandatory fine of 294,548,110. That sum is well calculated and equal to 2 times the benefit that you derive from that county. And I think that the last sentence on you can sit down for Beth. Beth, I really weighed on your issue, and I'll now tell you, at times you'd rather walk away, isn't it, Chege? Than do things. Don't be in companies you don't know what is happening. So I've weighed your issue. Much as Chege took the responsibility, and I also see him as a gentleman on that, I'll only sentence you under 48(1) of ASECA. You pay a fine of 1 million in default, 12 months imprisonment, and that also gives a reprieve to the family to see your way forward. Now, Beth, you can sit down just a moment. Yes, is there any clarification you need? Council Monda? I'm still proceeding. Yes.
I just wanted to just clarification.
Yes, yes.
You did share the default sentence.
The default sentence for Mr. Chege.
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Chege, your default sentence would be 7 years under the mandatory fine. So if you don't raise that, or you have, in other words, you have got 7 years, you can still raise it and come out and you see what you can be able to do. Now, still on the sentence. The final bit of the sentence concern the provision of section 64 of ASECA. And it is my holding that that provision shall apply to each of the accused person. It's the law. Section 64 states a person who is convicted of corruption or economic crime shall be disqualified from being elected or appointed as a public officer for 10 years after the conviction. So that stands. 2 and 3, I don't think they are applicable in this situation. So that's also part of the sentence. Also in the sentence is an order by this court that sentences in all the counts shall then run consecutively. So they run consecutively. So you can sum up and you find the sentence that one needs to pay. I order that short for accused persons are hereby discharged and then security deposited in court shall be released forthwith. Similarly, any cash bail deposited in court shall also be released to the depositor. I also order that accused person's passport deposited in court shall also be released forthwith. I made a promise about the title deeds, Governor, and I've ensured that I come with them so that I personally hand them over to you. You can confirm whether they are appropriate. You can give them for your self-custody. They are still exhibits, but you are keeping them on our behalf. If they be needed in any further proceedings, you can have a look at them with your counsel. If you confirm they are appropriate, you tell me. You can confirm whether they are okay. Kama ziko sawa sawa. Are they okay? They are okay. The power of attorney is something else that you may need because of the transfers. You may need it for Mahinda. No, she's the one who produced. But if she can request, we will. She can just make a letter. Who produced? Are you sure? Yeah. So you'll also need it. Okay, I can also order that for self-custody. Yes. Correct? Yes. Their exhibits, if there are any further proceedings they may be required, you will also give them. Okay. The power of attorney, you are able to tell me it is, then you can also get him. Yeah. Just a moment, I've not finished. So you can remind me the name of this lady. What's the name of the lady? Winnie Wangeshi Mahinda. Thank you, Governor. Winnie. Just a moment. Yeah. Yes.
No, the name of the lady who produced evidence and produced that was Elizabeth Mahinda.
Yeah, Elizabeth Mahinda. Yes. I issued. Okay. Elizabeth Mahinda. But the production, you confirm it was produced by the first accused? Okay, we are just confirmed there's no problem. Don't worry about it. So, Mr. Monda, we'd rather release those one for their safe custody. Let them keep them. If there are any further proceedings, he has them.
He must be told that he must avail them.
Yes. Yes. Because I've indicated for safe custody. For safe custody. There are still exhibits, we have marked them. But we don't have got a good place where we can keep them. Maybe some water may come and destroy them. Then we'll be in trouble and would have destroyed someone's property. And I promised. And that's why even I've taken the trouble to ensure that they are fetched and they are brought. About the passport, I'm also following on them so that you get the passports. I'll ensure that shortly you get the passport. I hope someone is still on it about the passports. Yes, just so that I conclude on the sentence. Then you can address me if there's an issue that you want. So I've also meant that to be released. Then accused person will not have 14 days right to appeal. That's also your right against the judgment and the ruling on the sentence. I've also made an order that certified copies of judgment ruling on sentence shall issue to parties subject to payment of the charges where applicable. If it's the EACC and prosecution, they don't pay. JM and Swaka, you are to do something. Did you do? Well, that's where I check. Did we pay? I gave you.
Yeah, my office came for 6 years. Many days we don't get.
Yeah, you paid.
Yeah.
Can we check and confirm?
Yeah, it's in the process.
Because I don't want to be sent a bill. And I'm only a salaried person. Yeah. It's only one to pay. Only one to pay.
I agree. Actually, I was requesting something else. I know that you mentioned that.
No, I've completed.
On the issue of also include
Okay. Yeah, just a moment. Yes.
So I appreciate the order that you made about that. But you know, was also the issue of proceedings.
Okay, I had the proceedings of the proceedings, but the proceedings we need to have look at them. The types one there are a few typos here and there, as usual, you know. But I've even called the EO and I've told him if we can be given to a serious person to proofread them thoroughly, it's okay. But for the judgment you have, this ruling I'm going to give you right away. It won't even take a second for me to give you. Yeah. Yes, I put certified copies of proceedings, judgment, and the ruling on sentence shall issue to the parties subject to payment of charges where applicable. Does that one cover everything? Yes. Now, just a moment, Danson. Just a moment, so that we proceed a very orderly way. Let me begin with the governor. There's an issue that he wanted to raise. Then I can come to councils. Raise it. It is good. You don't tell someone to sit down and it's not good. Now, where's Mohammed? Mohammed? Do you have Mohammed? That was the leader here. No. Leave people's bosses. Yes. Nganga, you stand in. Yes. Yes. In court. Okay. What I may do, Nganga, I just plead with you, just as I've been telling you. Please, If you find there's something that's personal, and probably we don't need it for personal proceedings, you see, like even mine I'm giving back, just give them on. Swakas made very good submissions, and it was good. We don't need to continue paying where really someone has failed it. There's no point. Correct? I've sentenced you. Just look at it on compassion. Correct? Yeah, because I've appreciated the work that all of you have done. Correct? Yes, and the accused person, they are being cooperative throughout the proceedings. So there's no point. There's a document, you find this one is very useful, give it to them. They may need it, you never know. Correct? Because like now these ones, I must give them. I don't need to task them on what is happening. Now, a moment so that I take the addresses of councils as we wind up, and we be brief. And either the rest of the exposure, if there is any clarification, you didn't hear something properly, you tell me. I tell you so that you hear it from me. You don't go home and say, oh, I didn't understand this and that. Engineer, you understood your issue. Yeah.
You see, Excellency.
Yes.
Your Honor.
Yes.
It is only the documents that are mentioned.
Yes.
In their case that they need to call.
Yeah, yes. Just give me. I've told them in court, and I'm also going to reach out to them. Just for cordial relations. I tell them those ones. Look at them. Correct? And I hope you'll appreciate when. I'll also appreciate when you get them back. I tell them to give, because there's no problem. Because the problem that I mean, they are not exhibit. Now I can't release. I cannot just plead like a court. Because at the end of the day, they are being taken for a judicial purpose. You may think it is the judiciary that is offending you. Correct? But that's not the case. And because also our business to arbitrate. You know, my other work is just to ensure that we live in peace. Yeah. Well, that's my core business. Yeah, I just want we live well. We have an orderly society. That's my core business. That's the work of the judiciary. So I'll also talk to them. And tell them, please, if there's something that you think, go there and cancel, sieve through. Then they tell you, this one we are using, this one we are not. Get them. Correct? Yes. Council Swaka, don't go very far because I want to take Council's crossing remarks. Bridget. This one I shut up. Don't shut it out. But we'll go and print later once you are through this one.